boys and girls, I don't know what the hell I got myself into. We are on a Christmas evening. You see what I did? No, no, never mind. We are here with a couple guys I've only kind of run into at the shows, never really spoke to. I didn't know if they could actually really talk. I mean, I did see we did do a couple Kincaid files, so there is that. But with Let Me Stop the Chatter, this is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guests. We have one, August León. We have one, Ian Griffin. Collectively, they are known as the MUTTS. What's up, my man?
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? So, August, you go first. You go first.
Hey, man, it's been 2020. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, 2020.
At the same time, you can't let it hold you down and hold you back. But you just keep trucking forward. That's all you can do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I feel all of that, my friend. I feel all of that. Mr. Griffin, yourself, how you doing this evening?
I mean, I can't complain. I'm doing pretty well. My daughter has already invaded this conversation. Oh, she's running away, so it's all good. I scared her already. Everything's good. 2020 is, the bull, but it is what it is.
You know what? That is my general consensus about the whole 2020 gimmick. If you see what I never mind. I'm agreeing with you there. It is what it is. You just got to roll with the punches, my friend. What else can you do? You just got to go with the flow. I mean, there's nothing you can do right now.
Right. Very true.
Well, as far as your daughter, your dog, your cat, your gerbil, you got a ferret, no matter what, if anybody invades this interview, my friends, it's a wide open forum. Let the madness happen. I really don't care. We're here to have fun. This is not my show. This is the fan show because this introduces us to the local talent that we might not be able to speak to at the events during intermission, pre-show, after show, and stuff like that. Right. So first off, thank you guys so much for agreeing to talk to my silly ass. I really appreciate that. That's first off. Second off, glad to see you're both doing well. And third off, I just want to start this whole thing with this. If I'm not mistaken, I kind of heard through the grapevine. Is this your first kind of, I'll just say it, going on the record, official interview, my friends, together as a collective? Is this your very first interview?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Like a podcast. Yeah, podcasting.
Wow.
This is what it is. Yeah.
Well, man, I'm feeling some love that you guys want to sit down and talk to me again because I got that shtick going on over at the shows. You've seen me run around like a jackass. We all have, Yep. I blah 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 blah. But that's what we call wrestling, my friend. That's why we go to wrestling, to escape the bull crap, have some fun. I'm sure that's why you guys go as well. We're going to dive into that. But that's kind of my therapy, if you will. And we go there as fans to just have some fun. And yourselves, the men and women that are in the ring, you give us those good times and memories. So again, another thank you for those times that we get to bring home, even driving on the way home, and we talk about what happened throughout the evening. And I appreciate you guys doing what you do in the ring. So from the fans' perspective, I want to say thank you so much for what you guys do.
Oh, well, I mean, I could say from me, I appreciate that. I mean, you've always been a stand-up guy to us. I remember you interviewed us at a Richard Blake show, and it was when it was myself, August, and some jabroni. I don't remember his name, but he was another guy. And he was a jabroni. I remember you gave us the time. You always give us the time, so I appreciate it. So thank you.
Tons of fun that day was. You know what? I got like 10% of that show footage, maybe even like 7, because my goal for the evening, because of the huge stretch that you guys had to do, I was running like a jackass from one end to the other, and I was flying from one side of the building to the other to get an interview. I wanted to see how many promos I could get, either pre or post match. Each match I would run. And you guys speaking of taking the time, you guys were fantastic. And I want to give that to you, Mr. León.
Oh, thank you. I actually remember that night. We cut the promo right in front of a Muhammad Ali poster.
We did. Look at you. Yes,
right in front
we
of the
did.
Muhammad Ali poster. That's something I will never forget.
Yes.
I didn't remember that.
Oh yeah, we took the time to walk up and down that little corridor area, and there was so many people on those walls that just were straight motivation to a lot of people growing up. You had let's see, Muhammad Ali was on there. You had oh man, who else was on there?
I want to say Malcolm was amongst there,
Malcolm
right?
was on,
yeah.
Barack Obama was on there as well.
Yeah.
It was a really nice area, nice, but I couldn't complain.
You know what was cool about that, and I'm glad you said that, because whenever I first ran through the gym, because it was a gigantic gymnasium, it was. But when I first went to the corner, I'm like, whoa, this isn't my space. I need to be running down here where the door is to come around and down the hallway. When I went that first time, come around and went the hallway, I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. And that, what you've just spoken about, was actually why I was like, you know what? Tonight's not about the matches for some reason. I was feeling like there was new faces there, but there was familiar faces that I've never spoken to that I wanted to. And I must have got like 98% of you guys. And I swear, I was just shy of 100 of all of you guys. And it was a busy night. Man, that was my absolute most promos I've ever gotten in one evening, is that show with you guys.
Nice.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I think I lost friends. You know what happens? I've lost regular friends in my life because I just stuffed wrestling down everybody's throat on my face page, and
I know exactly what you're talking about right there. My fiance, she hates the fact that I even bring up wrestling. I can't talk to her about it. I can't do any. Take that over there. She doesn't want anything.
So let's start with that, because what we like to do on this show, pull the curtain back a little bit and take the entertainment value, maybe brush it to the side if you both are willing. You can give us character. You can give us yourselves. It doesn't matter. This is, like I said, this is an open forum. So I want to start with there, because I've always spoken on this show about the reinforcement of the support system in wrestling. And I haven't spoken about that in a while. And I've taken a break from the interview. So this is kind of bringing this back. And you guys, I think, are perfect examples of this, because you're both family men. Each of you, however you want to go, it doesn't matter who wants to go first. You can rock, paper, scissors. It does not matter.
I'm going first.
Talk to us, the fans, because I want to this is something that I've always wanted to bring out in the interviews, because we're not you guys and girls out there. And I know it takes a lot of heart, a lot of mental stability, a lot of physicality, the whole 9 yards, what it takes to be a wrestler. But talk to us about the support system and what that really means to become a wrestler, if you could.
I mean, that definitely means a lot. You definitely need the support. My wife, she supports me because, I mean, it gets me out of the house and away from her, so she loves that.
That's a plus.
My kids think it's cool. Like, I'll randomly put on my tights and they'll just be weirded out by me, the dad that's just wearing tights around the house. But yeah, like, I mean, my family has been supportive. So
you just wear the tights around the house?
Well, I gotta break them in.
Yes. Dude, that would be amazing. I don't know if that's breaking character, if you will. A day in the life of Ian Griffin, just hanging out with the trunks on, being a dad. That is good shit right there. I would watch that. I think that's hilarious.
It's pretty funny. And like some of my old gear, like it doesn't fit me anymore. I'll try to put it on my kids. It doesn't fit, but it's still funny. So.
Yes, Mr. August León, please talk to us about the support system.
Oh man, there's days where we'll go on the road for for a couple nights out of the weekend, and, well, pretty much the entire weekend. And as soon as you reach maybe about 6 or 7 miles away from your home, you start to get a little homesick already. And then that's the funny thing about it. Like, you
Yeah.
can't wait to go and do what you do, but at the same time, you hate that you're so far away. I mean, but the phone calls and the FaceTiming and everything, really, that really does help out. But at the same time, you can't FaceTime and be on the phone when you're trying to, go through the things that you need to go through in order to put on the show that we do.
Absolutely. Now, collectively, as the Mutts, and what we just spoke about, that's only one piece of. I can't even. I don't even know how to put a number on it. I'll just say that's probably one piece of. We'll say 1.7 trillion pieces of the puzzle to become a wrestler, because there's so many. There's so many things that really pull it all together, if you will. So I love speaking about that, because without that, I feel it's just a little more difficult of a task. You know what I'm saying? When you have that, instead of your better half or your spouse being, why are you doing that crap? That's for kids, or whatever the case may be. So having that support system, I think, is a really good factor when you're doing this thing. I wouldn't know, because look at me, I'm built like a fucking candle. So I would never get in the ring.
Hey,
have you seen this guy? Have you seen him?
I do. I pop at the thinner guys that get in there and do some of this crazy stuff, because it takes a lot, as we're speaking right now. Not only mentally, but the physical part, because you could knock on my chest and you'd be like, I don't want to hit you too hard, I might kill you. So I just the thinner guys really make me pop at times, because I'm a thin guy, and I go, I would never do that. So yeah, my hats off. A million % credit to the, not only to the thinner guys, but even on the opposite spectrum. And I'm going to talk about one specific person because of the recent transformation. I'm going to talk about Ace Romero. He went from 500 pounds to 350 pounds. Are we fucking kidding right now?
Baby. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I don't mean to be dropping.
Ace, we used to actually wrestle with him up in Maine for a company called IWE, and he was bigger than he was when he first got into Impact and all that. But he's a guy, he traveled all over the place, and he wrestles like no other big guy that I know, and I'm really proud of him, and I love AC, baby.
Yeah. I hate to. I'm sorry if I start dropping F-bombs and stuff. I just get a little excited. I get a little excited. That's my fault. Now, I want to continue with the Mutts, because I've been on the face page. I followed the Mutts over the course of probably, I'll say, at least a couple years now. I've been in it since about 2016, and I'll say I'll cut that in half and say about 2 years that I've known the Mutts. And that's just me being a jerky, running up with them. Hey, I got a camera. Let me mess with you a little bit. And you guys have always been cool with that, so I appreciate that. But I do have questions, because we've never been able to sit down and talk. First off, the name the Mutts, please. What is that? I know it's got to mean.
I got this.
I'll let you hold on to that one right there.
So I actually came up with it back when it was just myself and Randy Guerrero, Alex Kane, whatever he's called nowadays. And it's an acronym, it's the misused talents, but the extra T is just the 2 T's are in talent. So it's misused talent. So because we always had this chip on our shoulder that we always felt like we were misused. We weren't politically not inclined. So we thought that we were just misused. So that's where the Mutts came from. And that oh my God, years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago is when we the first Mutts started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the original formation of the Mutts was only 2 guys? That's what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it was myself and Randy, but like we would go up and down the road with August and his then partner Kenny Roberts. They were the Player Society, so we would have the Player Society versus the Mutts, and that's how we were rivals. I hated this fucking guy for so many years.
Wait, did you just say Kenny Roberts? Like Kenny Roberts from PAPW?
Yep.
Get out of here. Wait, you and Kenny Roberts? Get out of here.
That was a show. That was literally a show. When you see me and Kenny together, that was something. Get ready to party. That's all I had to say about that. Get ready to party. I had so much fun being a part of the Player Society with Kenny Roberts. It was really good.
Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. So now I've seen the Mutts when there was 3 of you. So you're talking about 6 years ago is when the Mutts started as a collective.
Yeah. About like 6, 7 years, like something like that, something ridiculous.
And then how did it become a trifecta, Mutts, if you will?
August, you wanna let him know, or?
Yeah, Randy actually hurt his back and wasn't able to pick up where he left off in a TIW event. So Griffin messaged me. He asked me, he's like, so what are you up to? And I told him nothing right now. He said, you want to head up to TIW with me? And that was where we became 2. And when Randy came back after he got better from his back injury, it was just something that it was. I could say that it could something that could run in a major promotion. What we were doing at that time, with the 3 of us at least, yeah.
And for the fans that don't know, TIW is truly independent wrestling. Up in the Berkshire area, you guys were running out of the Berkshire Mall, correct?
Yeah, yes, and then we moved to the Pittsfield Boys and Girls Club before this whole whatever 2020 thing happened. Yeah.
Now I wasn't at the last one. I've been up to the Berkshire Mall for some shows, but I wasn't at the last one, and the last one ended up being outside in the parking lot because of the way the building and the owner and stuff, and it was a really wacky time over there, and you guys had to go outside. And not only that, it was raining too. It ended up raining, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It started to rain, but it didn't come down that much. We were able to work through it.
And you guys were regulars, if I'm not mistaken, at the TIW shows, were you not?
Yeah, I mean, I started out probably their second show. I would go up there, then Randy would come with me, and then we all 3 of us went, and yeah, we were there pretty much from the beginning.
Now, staying on the TIW topic, when I first started seeing TIW pop up, it was a little bit of a haul for me. It was a half hour more. So at that time, 2 hours for me was just a little bit tough as a fan, some will travel 3, 4, 5 hours, and hey, my hat's off to them. I'm just not one of those guys that can do that on the reg, because I was going to like 15 shows a month, my guys. So to do a 2 hour and fit it. So anywho, when TIW first popped up, it was a little haul for me, so I never checked it out. But my point being about all of this is, did they not start off in a church, TIW?
They did. Yeah, they did. I think that was before August, before you were part of it, right?
Yeah, I came on when they were in the mall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the church, it was a weird setup. Like the backstage area was just the stage for their whatever they do at the churches for concerts and stuff. It was warmer than hell. It was pretty small, but the crowd was just hot. So I mean, that's what made it worth it. So
yeah, that is one thing about TIW, because now once they moved and I saw that they were going to be coming at least a half hour closer, I'm like, $10, hour and a half. I think I'm down for some of that action. So I ended up taking a solo ride by myself. I had plenty of herbal remedies for the drive, if you will.
We don't know anything about that.
It wasn't a boring ride, might I add. And to get there, and this is going to be funny part of the story, my GPS says to take a left, okay? If I take a left, it is down this, and now it was just a little bit of snowy, if I'm not mistaken. If you take a left, it went down a gravel road. And I go, whoa, 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 stop everything. So I pull over to the right. I re-GPS it. My GPS still says take a left. Now, what it was doing is there was a new road that was made with some houses scattered throughout the woods for a 4-mile stretch, okay? Mm-hmm. So it went this way so you didn't have to loop around, and it just did this nice little cross cut, okay? Mm-hmm. I take that left, and I go, I better fire up some herbal remedies because I don't know what the hell I'm getting myself into. So we go down, I go down this gravel road, and sure enough, man, it cut out a good little chunk right there. And I was like, thank you, GPS. This was awesome. So I get to the show. Yeah. So I get to the mall, and there's not a damn thing going on in this mall. So all you have to do is listen, and you'll find the wrestling. Okay. This is the very first night that they were there. I went about a half hour before they started. Big fucking mistake, because the line went way down. It was a killer line.
Yep.
So there's an announcement about, I don't know, there's probably maybe 20, 30 people in front of me. Maybe 20, I'll say. An announcement with a little megaphone. The fire marshal has capped us off at 150 people. We will let in who we can, and that's all we can do. And I know I'm telling a story, but you're going to love this.
I remember this.
So
I remember this.
Here's me behind a guy with 3 children and his buddy. Now, again, I've driven an hour and a half, and we do the shuffle thing. We're getting up to the doorway, and right where that dude stands in front of me with his kids, she says, I am sorry, we are at capacity. The kids instantly start bawling, all 3 of them, instantly. I start cracking up because I'm kind of Chinese, and I just laughed it right off, and I go, of course you would be at capacity, because I'm at the door, like that, right? So, do you know, I just turned around and took off because they wanted us they ripped the paper from the windows, and they were all just going to have us hang there and stand in the mall, or maybe bring out some chairs or whatever. And I looked at this dude with this little platoon of crying children, and I go, my friend, I am not down. I'm just willing to take the ride back. I don't want to stand. I wasn't down. So my very first time to go see TIW was that.
Oh, man. I remember that too. I remember that they cut it off at a ridiculous amount, and it was 2 stores. Like it was an old Navy and then something else. And they only let in 100 people, and then we had everybody else out on the outside, and we're like, this is so ghetto. But I mean, it was what it was. But that's funny that you were cut off right there.
It was pre-COVID.
Yeah. But what I did do though was I made sure, because I told my pop about this. I bring my pop to all of the shows. He's retired and he don't care. So usually I just give him a ring ding and I take my dad with me. But I told him the story. He goes, well, why the F didn't you call me? You know, kind of thing. And I go, dude, I'm glad you did it, because you would have probably been like, so we went to the next showing, but I made sure that I bought the tickets online. So there was 2 separate lines. So we kind of snuck in. They say that I'm not that bright, and I will agree with that. I am the first to admit that. But I did buy tickets specifically before that next show.
Well, that's very smart.
I didn't mean to stay on the TIW topic, but that is the first story that really comes to mind, is going to that very first one that I was able to go to at the Berkshire Mall. That was a great time, and I did go back to a few good times over there. I will say, you guys were a lot of fun over there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
But
you.
I do believe the first time I ever did meet you guys was at a Dick Blake show. Is that correct I'm saying? I mean, I know you guys do a lot of shows, and it's probably hard to recollect, but I'm assuming it was probably a Dick Blake show.
Otis, you take this because I got to go deal with my kids for 1 minute, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I'll be right back.
I got you.
I'll be right back.
Stunners. Give them stunners.
Are they okay? I mean, does he have them in cages? Because Alex Cipher put his child in a cage while he was doing an interview with me. I felt so bad.
Oh man, we got to get Griffin a cage then. No, but I think the first time I met you was at a PAPW alley show, the Friday Night Alley Fights.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think that's the first time I met you. You were hanging out with Fogman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. We were normally, when we started hanging out regularly, we would sit next to each other, to have fun at the shows. Right. But then when we were sharing the footage, it's like we have the same exact angle. So it was like almost, what are we doing here? So I would start sitting at a different spot. So it wasn't the same exact stuff. So when we do share it, I could get some, and I'm a little bit more mobile, if you could tell, than Fogman is. So I don't mind running like a banshee. I've run over old ladies. I've run over children. I don't care. Get out of my way. I've got footage to get. I apologize. But it is what it is. Yeah. My apologies. But we do have fun, sir. Yes, PAPW. Now that you bring me back a little bit, yes. Those. Now, I want to get you guys' perspective as wrestlers, because I've asked this question throughout these interviews. I've sprinkled it in. You both have been in places that are very intimate. I'll use like Training Day for TOS. Very intimate. PAPW. Again, they're Friday Night Alley Fights, an intimate setting. Now, do you prefer either setting where it's a little bit more intimate like that, or where it's a very big setting? Because we've been into some venues, and I'm just saying, these gymnasiums have been pretty gigantic that we go to, and wherever else you've worked that I've never seen you at. But what do you guys prefer, or does it even matter? A more intimate setting, or where there's a lot more, vibe, if you will? I don't know how to put it.
I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, I like the intimate setting. Like when people are like, it's more compact and there's like, it's just an intimate setting. It just feels like it's better that way. Like you get more of a story that you can tell, like, to all the people. And with a bigger crowd, it's kind of hard to like get the people that are like in the nosebleed sections. But I mean, it's wrestling, so it's either 10 people or 100 people, 1,000 people, you still got to perform the same way. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Mr. León, how you feel about the intimate setting or the bigger setting?
I was gonna say the exact same thing. It doesn't matter if it's 10 people or 10,000 people. I mean, it'd be great to work in front of 10,000 people, but anyway.
But you work the same. You give that same effort.
The exact same thing. Definitely, you work the exact same way, and if the person paid $5 a ticket or $15 a ticket, you give them the same ounce of blood that you would give either or.
Like on that same subject, like a couple years back when it was still just Randy and I doing the MUTTS, we actually traveled down to West Virginia to do a show. So like 10 hours, like one way, and that kind of sucked the ride. But the people that were in there, like, it was a big gymnasium and there was only 8 people there, and we wrestled like there was like 8,000 people there. So it was kind of funny to try to work like that kind of mindset when there's only 8 people. But I mean, those 8 people came out to see us, and we got booked down in West Virginia, so that was pretty cool. So
I feel that vibe so much, because I correlate music with wrestling so much within these interviews, and the way I feel the same thing. I play guitar, in a 80s rock band. We did the White Snake and Crew and Rat and all of that stuff. We were doing the one-offs with like Kingdom Come and Fastway and you name it. We were kind of ripping it out. We were having a lot of fun. But it's the same thing. I've jammed at a club in my hometown, Bristol. It's sorry, I don't really mean to mention that very loudly. But I've jammed at my hometown. One guy sitting at the bar, and I'm the booker. I'm the guy who's making the posters. I'm the guy who's doing the face page and the stuff. I was trying to do. There's always that one guy. I happen to be that one guy in the band that was doing the portion, the bigger portion. I'm not saying the other guys didn't do any of their part. Yeah. Not slighting them by any means. But when you get there and you see that one guy, there's a little piece of you that's just like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Yep, but totally.
We have the lights behind us. We have the amplifiers. We've got that soundboard. I've got my shit ready. We've done a sound check. I don't care if there's one dude sitting at the bar. It's time to fucking rock, babies. Let's go. Yeah. So it's the same thing with you guys and girls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's going to be one entertained set of people. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. This is going to be a hell of a practice, let me tell you. But that's one of the similarities with music and wrestling, for real. Right. But let's go back to the MUTTS portion of the program. Now, it was 2, then it was 3. Now it's back to 2. You guys have been rolling yourselves for a while. Did you ever think of changing from the MUTTS? Because I know that we see wrestlers evolve from one thing to another or change their gimmick a little bit. And I'm going to get into that with Mr. León and yourself because of little stuff you got going on every so often. But do you feel that you would ever be like, you know what, the MUTTS have run their course, we're going to evolve into this or that? Because there's always like an evolution of wrestlers, if you will. May it be your gear or whatever. Was that ever on the table? Either of you can take that.
I mean, like, we've thought about that a couple times, but we've kept the name, but we've changed what we've actually, like, what the characters are, what our outlook is. I mean, what we're doing right now with our, like, the Purge thing, that's like the most, like, sincere characters that we have. I mean, at least for me. I mean, I don't know about August completely, but I'm not a people person. So when I'm able to go out into the ring and tell people exactly how I feel, or like say I'm going to purge them or like rip their throat out, it's fun. So, I mean, I'm up. I mean, I'm up for anything. Like, but right now, we're the MUTTS.
Staying on that same theme, and I'm going to get into the mask with yourself because I've seen the MUTTS, and again, the evolution of the MUTTS, if you will, and it doesn't take, like we were talking, a name change, or it doesn't take drastic things, but a little bit of tweak here, a little bit of tweak there, like you guys are doing. The characters, and now, Mr. León, you come out with something on your face, and you guys spooked me. So I was very surprised that you're on board with this interview stuff because I didn't really know you guys. He's
on his medication. That's why we're.
Okay. Thank you. Taking the blue pills.
I've been tamed since the whole COVID thing. I've been tamed.
So talk to us about getting that little tweak here and there. Why the mask, and what does it represent for yourself? Because he was saying it's not really that far off. It's kind of where he's at, kind of thing.
Well, the way I look at it for the whole mask, the whole mask for me is a pass down from Randy. Randy was one of the original MUTTS along with Ian, and when he passed that down to me, I just felt like I didn't want to, I dropped the F-bomb. I didn't want to fuck it up, but I wanted to make him proud in the whole sense because, we have traveled for many years. I would say since 2011, 2012, something like that. We've been going up and down these roads. And I love these guys. I love these guys. These guys have become a part of my family. They come to my kids' birthdays and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So what the mask meant for me was he pretty much gave me the keys to go fuck shit up, and I looked at Griffin. Griffin looked at me, and then we just like, let's purge the shit out of these motherfuckers. And that's just how. I mean, that's just something like if we look at professional wrestling today, a lot of it is so freaking cookie cutter. Everything is the same thing. You turn on one station, it's the same thing. You turn on the other station, it's the same thing. So we want to look at it as a real fight. And when you want to look at it as a real fight, what better way than to purge somebody? What better way to, you have, the government gives you 12 hours of letting you, do whatever you want. And, that's just, we took that, particular setting and we brought it into professional wrestling.
Nice.
So we've been doing that for a while. So.
I like the real fight label that you threw on there because I'm picking up what you're putting down, sir. I'm with you on that. Yes, absolutely. Staying on that same theme, Mr. Griffin, you seem to have some war paint, or what do you got going on when you come out every so often? What's going on there?
No, that's just how I wake up. No, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just a war paint. Like, he has his mask, and I put my war paint on because, like, I put that on, and it's like someone's about to get fucked up. And like August was saying, like, we like a different type of wrestling that's not so popular. Like, everything's like flipping stuff and acrobatic stuff. We're like very more like the old school, like 80s, Arn and Tully, like just beating the shit out of people, and we like that. So yeah, it's just my war paint. He's got his Abe mask, and yeah, we put on our little faces, and we go out there and we kill some motherfuckers.
I just want to reiterate, boys and girls, tons of fun to MUTTS because they come out. They're characters. Now, I want to stay on this right here because we love talking character on this show. And I'm going to talk to each of you because you stated earlier, really not that far off from who I am, if you will. He's shaking his head. He's like, yeah, I'm with you, my man. Now, that's something that I like to stress on this show because I think it's the best when it's a character that it doesn't have to come from scratch. There doesn't have to be all of this holy cow. What do I do? What am I called? What do I represent? What do I wear? All of that. When it can kind of come a little bit more from home, if you will, and it makes it better in the ring. It's easier, if you will, because as I've talked to so many talented men and women on this show, it just seems easier to bring to the ring as a performance, your athleticism, your moveset, because now you're not overthinking many different things that you probably would trying to present a character in ring. With all of that said, am I correct on saying that, sir, Mr. Griffin?
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, I feel like in the history of professional wrestling, the best characters are the one that's just like their personality revved up like 100 points or something. Like, I'm not going to go out and just take a bat and whack somebody in the head with it, but when I'm in the ring, that might happen. Because like wrestling's a very good form of therapy, and I really think that the best characters are the ones that are like close to you, like not too close, but like you could like work off of. And I mean, that's pretty much what it is for me. I love our characters. I just love it because it's very, very close to me. I mean, like I said, I'm not really a people person, so that helps out.
Mr. León, yourself?
I'm a people person. I don't know about this guy, but I'm a people person. No, the only way that I would look at my character is if it was me at my lowest, like at my coldest, like, with the biggest chip on my shoulder. I mean, that's the only way I can describe my character. Is I'm looking to rip your head off, even though I am the size that I am. I'm going to find a way to rip your head
get out
off.
of here, Cat. Get out of here.
So I've spoken to many men and women that sometimes there's just a light switch that goes off right when you come through that curtain, or right when your music hits.
Our music.
You both feel that, and it's the music. Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's the siren.
The purge sirens.
The siren.
Once I hear those sirens, I went from Jose Rios to August Leon. Once I hear those sirens, that's the switch for me.
Okay.
Yep. 100%. Yep, exactly. Like, we hear that music and we know it's time to put on a show. And I mean, some of it's not a show, but we hear that music, that siren goes, and it's just like the adrenaline just kicks in like that. So
yeah, definitely.
So you guys were speaking that you've been on the road since 2011, 2012 together. That's quite some time in its own right. So I'm assuming you guys weren't always a tag team. You've done your singles stuff and such. Because we've never met the Mutts, and I really don't give a crap about runtime on these shows. So it's pretty much until you're sick of me is when I stop talking, is how this works. No. I'd really like to speak to each of you, get some background leading us up to the Mutts, because again, I've never spoken to either one of you. And if this is actually your first interview, I would love the fans to get to know you guys even more. So whoever would like to start first, Mr. Griffin, let's start with you.
Okay.
Give us some training background, the kind of general stuff without asking you the general questions, if you will.
Okay. Well, I mean, so I'll answer the one thing that, what got you into wrestling? The first thing that got me into wrestling was channel surfing. I was just going through, it was December of 97. I'm just going through channels, and I hit the USA channel, and it was the episode of Raw where it was Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and it was when Austin threw the Intercontinental title over the bridge. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? So I got like hooked from there. I wasn't like hardcore into wrestling until like December of the following year. But I did all the stupid stuff. I did the backyard stuff. But that's where I actually got in the people that I was doing the backyard wrestling with. We got in contact with New England Hall of Famer Aaron Morrison. And okay. Aaron's actually the guy that trained me. And he helped us all out. We had an actual ring in one of our friends' yards, and that's where we actually started doing the training. And then we ended up going to Kevin Landry's school when it was in Palmer. So okay. That was in 2007. So I was trained by Aaron Morrison. I had some help from Kevin Landry and Chris Camaro, if anybody knows who that guy is, and Bobby Ocean. Bobby Ocean, he was helping with Jerome, so that was fun. But yeah, so I was trained mostly by Aaron Morrison, and that's my start in wrestling. So.
Now, seeing it on TV, that is later in your life. It's not like you were growing up as a kid and was a wrestling fan. Like, because there's a lot of wrestlers that have like, oh yeah, I was like 5 years old and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So you kind of got into wrestling itself later in life. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, I was like 12 when I saw that episode of Raw. And
okay. My bad.
No, it's cool. But I got really into it when I was like 16. I even tried to go to find out how to get into Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy, but my mom and my dad would not help me move to Texas when I was 16, so I couldn't do that. So I just waited. I looked up all the schools. I wanted to go to Chaotic, but that was too far. But Aaron definitely helped. Aaron was a great trainer, and I owe him a lot. So
awesome. Shout out to Mr. Morrison. We love seeing him in the ring. I've seen him a bunch over there at PvP and such. Great guy, man. Mr. León, give us a little bit of your background, sir.
My background. All right. I started off in Defiant Pro Wrestling's Proving Ground Dojo with Mike Milano.
Get the hell out of here! No, you were not.
I was there. I was there since they opened. Actually, I was one of their first students.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I started training with Jason Knight and Justin Credible for maybe about literally 3 weeks, and
they were running out of. I don't mean to interrupt, but they were running out of Waterbury, correct?
Yes, Waterbury, Connecticut. Yeah.
Okay.
So we were, working with them for a few weeks, and they started to get booked. So they couldn't show up as often. So Bobby Ocean stepped in along with Peter Von Schmidt, Joseph Von Schmidt, sorry. There was a guy named Del Tsunami. Abel Graves was there. Nocturne. Man, great guys. All great guys. They all stepped in and helped train us. I was there for a little while. Then I got a knee injury. Injuries take a lot of my career. I'll tell you that much. I got a knee injury, and I was out for a little while. And I picked up where I left off with Bobby Ocean, and I was with him for a little while, and with another wrestler from New York named Tiger Aguaneba. He taught me the lucha aspect of wrestling, which was a crash course, and I would say is no joke. Those guys have cardio for days. And Bobby Ocean, let me tell you something. If you look at the encyclopedia and you look at what cardio is, yeah, Bobby Ocean's picture is right there. Let me tell you something. I started. I picked up with Tiger and Bobby, and I'm here today.
Seeing Mr. Griffin's face hearing Bobby, he's like, "Oh, I remember them days, man. I remember them days."
Grueling. But he whipped you into a shape what a wrestler should be. I'll tell you that. That right there. That's I can go on and on about Bobby Ocean, but
yeah, same.
Man, I
hear both of everything you're saying. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I said it hits home when you speak about Bobby Ocean. That's the man.
I will say something. I've had the honor and privilege to be at the Test of Strength on some of their training days. I should be going out there more often. I know with the vid and everything happening that's not an option, but
right.
I should have been going a little bit more often because, man, I love not only watching what's going on in the ring because usually I'm standing through the whole thing. I've been to a couple seminars as well, doing some filming and such, and then kind of sharing privately within who was working with, X guy at seminar or whatever. That's another honor. An honor as a effing fan to be able to walk in there and do stuff like that. You guys, that's the love that I feel from you guys, and I'll never forget shit like that ever like forever. But I'm getting away here. But going to the training days, not only what's going on in the ring, but as I'm standing back at the doorway and seeing Bobby Ocean or Slick Wagner Brown speaking to these guys and girls, and Slick Wagner, tell me that man's laugh. You can hear that. I mean, you can hear that.
It's like a Tony. It's like a Tony Atlas laugh. Yeah, it's just like it. Yeah.
You can hear that laugh forever and ever, and you would never get sick of it. Oh my goodness, it's so infectious. It makes you crack up when you hear him.
Yeah.
But what's even funnier is when maybe something wonky happens in there, and he just starts doubled over. Oh, dude, I'll start tearing. I mean, it's just it's so funny. But anyhow, I'm still getting away. Just seeing Bobby and or Slick with their guidance, with their words, with their, their mannerisms, teaching their students at Test of Strength. My friends, I absolutely love, getting chills talking about this shit. I absolutely love watching it as a fan because I've always talked about there's a line beyond that guardrail that a fan isn't privy to, but most aren't, I should say. Some do get that privilege to get to go across that line. Back then, the older times, as you guys are saying, because when you're fighting style, you want to present a real fight. That's kind of an older time thinking style, the psychology, if you will, of wrestling. So if you go back further, that was taboo. Fans didn't fucking go beyond that. So it's kind of progressively evolved again. Wrestling has. So I have the absolute honor of having some of these times and memories that I get to take home and have footage of and stuff. But my point being was just seeing these guys really share their wisdom and showing what they think should be presented, because you have the hard cam is always running. You're always working for that hard cam, which is very cool at Test of Strength. You're always working for the hard cam. I think that's so cool over there.
Oh yeah. The hard cam. Yeah, you better be looking at that fucking hard cam. That's that's exactly how I was told. You better be looking at that fucking hard cam.
No, that's good that they're training them on that, because when we get to a venue, we're like, where's the hard cam? That's the first thing we look for, is where's the hard cam, so then we know exactly where it is. So. And
the broom, because nobody likes to sweep the mats. I can't stand that. That's disgusting. Who likes to bump in their own dirt?
I want to touch upon something with the Mutts. Now, you've been a tag team for quite some time now. Now, do you prefer? Obviously, you might be. I'll probably answer my own question, but do you prefer tag team wrestling over the singles because it's a totally different animal? Was it something you had to get used to as a singles wrestler to get into the tag teams? Because there's a different nuance, if you will. There's a different psychology. There's a different move set. There's a different way you have to work the outside of the ring. Again, there's all of these puzzles going from a singles wrestler to a tag team wrestler. Give us your thoughts on that transition. Was it easy? Was it something you were looking forward to? Or how's it sitting with you now?
I mean, I've always liked tag team wrestling. Like, that's been my thing. And there's more of a story you can tell in a tag team match than you can in a singles match. For the majority of my career, I think I've been a tag team guy. Like, August and I had this little scuffle, I guess, what was it, earlier this year, where we broke up for like 2 months or something, and then COVID happened, so we kind of forgave each other. But we tag team.
Just love. That's all it was.
Yeah, it was tough love. But tag team wrestling, I love the psychology, because you have to I love how you can distract the referee, get away with stuff, especially being bad guys. I love being a bad guy, because who wants to be a good guy? But with tag team, I've always loved it. I love it. I study it all the time. I'm constantly watching old tag team stuff and current stuff. I try to get as intense as a team like FTR, but I think I can speak for both of us. We're better as a tag team.
Okay. Now you're feeling the heel portion of the program, Mr. Griffin. You're on board with that more than being the good guy.
Oh yes.
It just seems 100%. Easier.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier and a lot more fun to be the bad guy than being the hey, everybody, take your vitamins, say your prayers, brother. I'm more about looking at somebody and flipping them off and then going in the ring. So it's good.
Singles into the tag team. Give us some of your thoughts, sir. Mr. León.
Oh, León.
Oh yeah. As a baby face, I have a pretty boy look, so I was always categorized. As a pretty boy, and that's what I should be. And I didn't like the story where the pretty boy would end up, because we ultimately know that the pretty boy is going to end up in the hands of the monster. And I bust my ass for that monster right there. I mean, I bust my ass to a point where I shouldn't be fed to said guy. At least embellish me a little bit. God, come on. But being the pretty boy character, it has its fun times to an extent. You can only party so much when you're supposed to be fighting. And when I actually got that that bell rung, that transition from baby to becoming a heel was so comfortable. It was so comfortable. As soon as I was like, yeah, everybody, come on, it's so fucking. You know how hard it is to get people to cheer when they don't fucking like you. Like and a lot of people that I run into, you're a natural.
August, you've seen me trying to be a face. How funny is that? I do the whole yeah, come on everybody, and I hate it.
Griffin is so much taller than a lot of the independent wrestlers today, and especially right here in the Northeast. He's so much taller. So him trying to be a baby face, it's like it's like fishing with nothing. But him as a heel, it works. So me as a pretty boy, but yet a heel, I can be a condescending prick, but I can be a cold, condescending prick, which ties into the first Purge movies, which the villain was a cold, condescending prick. And I feed off of that. So when I'm in the tag team with Griffin, I can feed off of his energy, opposed to when I'm in the singles. A lot of people have told me after my singles matches that I'm very quiet, very
okay.
I'm dormant, and once the bell rings, that energy,
Sorry, my son's feeding me. I'll do that.
Hey, that's all right. It's a free form.
Hi, say hi. Okay.
Hi.
I thought you said he had a cage for. Oh wait, never mind. He's here.
Oh no, we gotta get him. No, but this for me, it was just the more being comfortable as a heel. I've been told that I'm a natural heel, and it just it just flows off of me. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely makes sense. Now, grasping the fans, being a wrestler, especially independent wrestler, and I mean, that's what I grasp for. I don't look to go for names and try to talk to the names, if you will. I want to get on our local scene. I want to get like yourselves. You've never had an interview. I love that stuff. I've seen Elijah Six being a student at TOS. I got his first promo. I like that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you guys reading the fans, that's not always an easy task getting into wrestling. Could you tell us how long? Because I'm always curious about the answer. It's always different from person to person, wrestler to wrestler, if you will. Female or male, it does not matter because you're all wrestlers. Mr. Griffin, how long do you think it took in your career to hear the fans and actually kind of utilize us and get that character thing flowing? Because sometimes it does start off the top. Some has that little natural spark for it, but many times it takes a little while.
God, I would probably have to say like when Randy and I were feuding with Kenny Roberts in August up in Maine is when I started really getting feeding off the crowd. Like we fed off the crowd because we were working together like every weekend, every tour that we were doing, and it so I mean, God, maybe it took like six years. But like when you finally get that and you know what you need to do and you know that if something's not working, you got to call an audible. Like that's pretty cool too, to have like the fans in like the palm of your hand pretty much. So that was fun. It's fun.
Yourself, Mr. León, a little tough reading the crowd at the beginning, or how long did it take you, do you think, to kind of feel
Oh
us
man,
out?
at the beginning, oh man, I was just trying to be what I saw on TV. uh, that's where I was at the beginning. I was just, a lot of not trying to mess up. So I wasn't really listening to the crowd, which was a mistake on my end. I was just trying to go through the motions. That's what I was trying to do.
Mhm.
But when it did click for me was I would I would have to say, huh, PAPW. It was at PAPW alley fights when we were working House of Pain.
Okay.
When we were working House of Pain, uh, as soon as he pulled me to the corner. He's like, slow down. So so I was just like, okay. He was like, nah. And then it started to click. Once he said that, he's like, brother, slow down. So right there, it started to click. Right there, for me anyway.
Okay.
It was, from there on, it's been, oh man, it's been like taking a college course. It went from high school to college really fast, and now it's all about listening to the crowd, their
Mhm.
reaction. Only if they're not sitting on their hands, because a lot of times you get crowds where they're just sitting on their hands, and they don't want to cheer, they don't want to boo.
Yeah, no
I mean,
matter what. No matter what.
exactly. Somebody can just jumping off of a ladder, about to break their neck in 17 different places, and either they're cold or I have no idea what it is. They're cold or just not entertained. But
Yeah.
uh, to get a reaction out of the crowd, you have to tell them a story,
Mhm.
because there's a reason why they fell in love with professional wrestling, and it wasn't somebody jumping off of a ladder breaking their neck. It was because somebody somewhere along the line told them a story. Whether it was
Mhm.
Rock, whether it was Austin, whether it was Styles, whether I mean, you name it, you name the guy, but they fell in love with wrestling because of a story, and that's my point of view anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. For myself, I did see some stuff on TV growing up, but for myself, it was actually live when I was seeing guys like Putski and Santana go against the Samoans with Captain Lou, Bob Orton, Cowboy. Bob Orton was, where'd he go? He's
They're
there
talking
somewhere.
to
I see.
Kel.
He did freeze for a little bit. I was going to
Yeah,
mention
he
that,
did. Yeah.
but that's okay. I did it. I didn't
There we
want to
go.
kill him. There
Yeah.
we go. Yes, I
Jim,
did.
I
I did.
can't see you at all. I can't see.
Uh, yeah, seeing guys like Cowboy Bob Orton go against the champion then, Bob Backlund. So that's kind of the stuff that really got my spark to get it flowing like that. Were those kind of guys. Morocco was always one of my favorites. I thought he could do no wrong as a heel, or he could, because he could play both. But he could do no wrong. I'm telling you, that guy was just awesome. He was gold every time.
Nice.
But yeah, you guys were very informative, and I appreciate the candor and the honesty, and just kind of sitting back, giving us some of your story, because this is what this is all about, and I really appreciate that you guys were open with
Definitely.
your story. I do really appreciate that, like 1,000,000%, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Before I do let you guys go, I always want to give you at least a little bit. Uh, do you guys have anything to promote? I mean, obviously yourselves as the Mutts and stuff. Give us the social medias where we can find you guys, maybe the tube or whatever, addresses or the emails or whatever, however we can stalk you. I mean, follow you guys. Uh, give us the social medias and promote anything you guys want. If it's outside wrestling, if you have an arts and crafts thing going on at your house, I don't care. Promote what you guys want to do. This is your spot right now, please.
All right,
Go ahead.
August, you go first because I don't know my social media stuff. I'm looking it up right now, so I'm so such a noob.
No worries, bro. Hey, the only social media I have for me is the Facebook.
Okay.
I don't tweet. I don't Instagram. I'm not that handsome of a guy. I don't think anyway. I don't have the patience for Twitter. Facebook is because like I have family and friends both on my page, and but the MUTTS, as far as promoting, whew, man, this whole COVID thing has everything at a standstill. Uh, we have gone down to a couple of events over in Maine, and that that took a turn. But hopefully, when we do go back, that everything you know simmers down. With the whole COVID situation.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much like nowhere. Like you can't really travel anywhere. I mean,
Right.
so that kind of sucks. But I mean, for if any promotions want to book the MUTTS, our one of our emails is actually bookthemutts@yahoo.com. I have a Facebook. I have a personal one, but I also have a wrestling one, and it's just type in Ian Griffin and look for this ugly face. For Instagram, it is the underscore mutt underscore Ian underscore Griffin.
Okay.
Kind of
I got
long.
you.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's like we're 2021. We're gonna try to elevate what we do. Like we're gonna try to get into the best shape that we can, and we want to try to work more local shows. We want to put the MUTTS name out because I mean I don't know about Mr. León, but I'm not getting any younger, so.
I'm older than you, motherfucker.
But yeah, like we want to work as many places as we can. So yeah, that's it.
Are there any specific tag teams or any specific championships that you guys have as a collective? Because I know when tag teams are looking across the scene, and I know you guys aren't sitting on your hands, you try to keep an eye on the pulse and see who's out there and all of that good stuff. Who are you guys looking forward to when this stuff kind of comes down a little bit and we can actually start rolling with some wrestling here? The MUTTS versus who and which championships. It doesn't have to be the same who are champions in the same promotion, but whatever you guys are got on your plate that you think that like in your sights right now, give us a couple tag teams or championships or promotions that you think you guys might have on the plate right now.
I mean, one team that I would love to get back in the ring with is definitely the Stepdads. They've got it in such great shape too, so it would be so much better. I love the Stepdads. I love them so much. I love when we get to kick them in the face. It's even more fun.
That's not nice. That's no, not nice.
I'm sorry. But see, their stepdads were real dads, so we have a problem with those people. But anyway, another team. I don't know about August, but I feel like we have unfinished business that we never got to really deal with, and that's the Mainstay Posse. We've wrestled them up in Maine, but certain things made it so they went their separate ways. We stayed up there. We never really crossed paths, but Mainstay Posse, I definitely would love to get in the ring with them because they're a very good up-and-coming team that for some reason hasn't been signed anywhere. I don't know why. But for titles, I mean, opportunity is what we've been looking for. We've been looking for opportunity since day one, and I mean, any way to get it. I mean, if we get opportunity, then Tag Team Gold's going to be coming our way. So,
all right. You named a couple fine tag teams there. Mr. León, do you have anything to kind of piggyback or is what he kind of put out there?
Well, for me, I would say they're all rematches, because I feel that after reviewing, videotape and everything, that I could give these guys a better version of August León.
Okay.
So I would say House of Pain would be one team. Bobby Ocean and Dan DeMann
What the hell?
Even though we did beat them,
We wrestled
Ocean
them
and
once
Dan
in
the Man, I
CSW.
would like to do that one more time. I would like to do that Bobby Ocean and Dan the Man one more time, and Sammy Diaz and Elijah Six. I've been keeping an eye on them boys for a little bit.
Oh,
I
look
like
at
them.
you.
I like them. You know, no ill will, no beef or nothing like that. Boys are doing their thing, man, and I'm good. I'm glad to see that. You know, they're doing good.
Uh, I will say the characters collectively known as the Firm. Wow, some of my most fun times and memorable times going to wrestling is with those four. It could be two of them. No matter what, they've been doing really well character wise and such. They piss us off really bad. So I will say that. I don't know if you've seen as of late. I've been taking my face and slapping it on stuff. Maybe some of the familiar faces we know. But Mr. J. Bricks, he had to open his trap. And I made a Don Bricks. Did either of you catch that at all?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I
Yes.
did not.
Two or three different versions. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. There was a Don Bricks and then a jacked up one because when I put my face on it, his glasses disappeared and such. So it looks like it's just one lens on there and there's no frame and everything. It looks all jacked. So I put the good one, Don Bricks, and on the other side, I put Don Bricks ordered by from Wish. I thought that was pretty fun. I had a laugh. I don't know about Mr. Bricks. I don't think he liked that very much, but I thought that was funny as AF, as the kids would say.
That is funny.
You guys have been an absolute a blast. We've been running 1 hour, 12 minutes, and it's been, you figured we'd only been talking like 20 minutes, man. This has been absolutely amazing.
It always flies when you're having fun.
Yeah,
thank
man.
you so much. We definitely appreciate this. It's definitely definitely what we wanted to do. So,
hey, I didn't ask you everything I wanted to because I start yakking too much. So maybe down the road we can do a follow-up, the MUTTS dos, if you will, and bring it back. Yeah, run it back, as they say. That would be fun.
Run it back.
Oh God, this was awesome, man. A lot of laughs, a lot of stories. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I am not. No. Oh, hell no. Because there is no way that I am letting you guys go yet. Now, what I like to do, I like to pull out the road stories because you guys have been on the road for so effing long together. Look at, he's laughing. He's cringing. Before we go, and I don't want to wait until a follow-up. Before we go, give us the fans just a smidge, just one road story apiece, because you're both smiling. Look at those beautiful smiles. Mr. Griffin, please go first. What do you have in mind? Give us a cute little road story, if you will.
Oh, this is a story I usually tell people because it's freaking hilarious. It was when Randy and I were the MUTTS, and then August and Kenny were the players, and we were traveling up to South Portland, Maine. It was we were going to defend our tag team titles versus the Player Society. So I have my wrestling bag. I put it in the trunk. Got my title in the bag, and I'm not thinking. I'm like, okay, well, Randy's got to have had his belt. So we're driving. I think we got up to like New Hampshire. We were almost in Maine. And I'm like, so, Randy, you have everything. You have the belt. And he's like, shit, I forgot the belt. And he lived near Hartford at that time. And we were supposed to be before intermission, our match. So we had to drive all the way back there, then drive all the way. So it turned into like what, a 12-hour trip, and we ended up, we had to call the promoter and just be like, oh, we're going to be late. We pushed ourselves into being in the main event, so it worked out.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I always bring it up to Randy, like if we're hanging out with him, I'm like, did you remember the tag belt this time? Yeah. So, that is one of my stories.
That seemed to instantly come to you because both of you like cheesed, if you will, as soon as I said that. Mr. León, please give us a little something.
Oh man, Road Diaries. Oh.
Keep it PG.
Okay,
PG.
okay, PG. All right. Okay. One night after a show, we all went to a bar, a very familiar bar where they have karaoke
PG.
and
PG.
and PG. Come on. Yeah. All right, but we were at the bar, we're all hanging out, and this is at the time where Salvio Vega gave us a seminar.
Oh my God.
So Salvio's at the bar, and he calls me over. He's like, "Hey, do they have food here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they have food here. Just tell the waitress what you want, and and because there's a restaurant right next to the bar, so they kind of coexist." So he tried to put an order in, and the lady tells him that the kitchen is closed. So I mean, mind you, we got there kind of late because we were after the show. So he proceeds to go behind the bar, and there's nothing to eat behind the bar. So then he goes into the kitchen and comes out with a big ass bag of chips and puts it in his coat. And he starts to take chips and put it in random people's pockets. Like, I know everybody's hungry, so I'm just gonna feed everybody. Don't tell them I fed them. So he's putting chips in, and we're all eating chips. And that was, for me, that was
because of that, we the locker room we had got cut in half. So that because of Savio Vega, we went from a giant locker room to a small locker room because they didn't trust us anymore.
Oh,
yeah. That's the way I love to end this. Look at those beautiful smiles from a couple guys we call the MUTTS. Are you kidding me? I mean, this has been fantastic. I cannot thank you enough for both of you for spending the time to talking to us, the fans. This has been really, really fun. I appreciate both of you guys coming in, especially during such a crazy time. But I feel this is a cool way to reach out to you men and women, is doing it this way. And then we get to put it on the tube and share it out and stuff. And hopefully, besides, it's just not my dad and his dog that watch this. If it is, I apologize. That's on me. I am sorry for that. We'll see where that goes. This has been Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guests. We have August León and we have Ian Griffin. Collectively, they are known as the MUTTS. Thank you so much, my friends.
Thank you.
Thank you.